And then like the generation, they talk so much shit about the game today.
Yeah.
And it makes you go back and watch the game back then. And it makes you not even want to appreciate it no more like I did when I was a kid. Like, it was like.
So I've heard players say, including myself, I feared Mike. I've heard players in your generation
say they fear LeBron. These were the moments when Shaquille O'Neal straight up questioned LeBron's legacy, his fear factor, and the whole claim to greatness. And he did it in public with no hesitation. For years, Shaq has been dropping truth that mainstream media refuses to touch. But what he said in March 2024 had the entire basketball world buzzing like never before. This isn't about taking shots at LeBron. Let's make that clear right away. What we're breaking down is why one of the most dominant big men ever, a guy who actually played next to LeBron, still refuses to call him the greatest. When you hear what Shaq said about fear, killer instinct, and the real gap between LeBron and the legends before him, it hits different. And for those of us who watched Jordan and Kobe control the league with that cold energy, Shaq's perspective explains why a lot of fans always kept a little doubt in the back of their mind. March 2024 brought a moment on Shaq's podcast that had LeBron supporters spiraling online, and honestly, you could feel the tension everywhere. I've heard players say, including myself, I feared Mike. I've heard players in your generation say they feared Kobe. I've never really heard any players say they fear LeBron. During an episode of The Big Podcast with his former teammate Mario Chalmers, Shaq dropped a line that sliced right into the heart of the GOAT debate. Something so bold that once he said it, there was no walking it back. The exact words were these, and when people tried to challenge him, Shaq doubled down without even blinking. LeBron tried responding on Instagram, flexing his streak of consecutive double-digit scoring games. I think players really feared LeBron like they did Jordan. I never heard anybody say it. And it's not that you shouldn't fear LeBron. I just think at the end of the day, Bron has been through so much that he wanted to be liked. So it was kind of like he is a nice guy. Yeah, I'ma do things now where like people like me, people respect. A stat he said lasted longer than Shaq's career, which sounded cool for some.
And it's not that you shouldn't fear Bron. I just think at the end of the day, Bron has been through so much that he wanted to be liked. So it was kind of like,
he is a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do things now where
broke down why players never feared him the way they feared Jordan or Kobe, and his explanation said everything. LeBron wanted to be liked, which sounds positive on paper, but Jordan and Kobe were built different. They wanted to break your confidence and take your heart on the court. What about Kobe and LeBron in their prime? Well, I'll play with both of them, and Kobe has that killer instinct, and I'll probably have to go with Kobe. They didn't care about friendships or approval. They wanted opponents losing sleep before the game even started. And here's the wild part. These criticisms didn't begin in 2024. Back in November 2011, Shaq dropped his memoir, Shaq Uncut, My Story, and the things he revealed about playing with LeBron in Cleveland during the 2009 to 2010 season were heavy. The kind of stories that usually get pushed aside because nobody wants to deal with the truth. Shaq wrote about how coach Mike Brown handled LeBron with extreme caution, saying their coach was a nice guy, but he had to live on edge because nobody was supposed to be confrontational with LeBron. If you're making $30 million, 80 games is good enough. All right, 2 more things real quick. Go ahead. So you want me to pay you $30 million to play 30 games? Hell no.
Right, no, 80 games is fine, because I did it, Jerry West did it, Kareem did it, Magic did it, Bird did it, Bernard Kate, like all the great legends before us did. That line alone changes everything when you're trying to build a championship mindset. This kind of treatment becomes a real problem. Shaq even broke down a moment from a film session that exposed everything. LeBron didn't get back on defense after a missed shot, and Mike Brown didn't say a single word. But on the next clip, when Mo Williams did the exact same thing, suddenly Brown was all over him like it was a crime scene.
I believe that an NBA player could make $1 million. And now these guys are so lucky and blessed and they can't play basketball 3 or 4 days a week. And I know they hide behind all the analytical shit from their agents and people like that. What they're really trying to do is extend their career. The way the money's been and going, depending on who you are, you're gonna be able to make another $50 or $100 million and probably more going forward if you could extend your career 2 or 3 years.
Then Dante West stepped in and confronted the whole double standard, saying everyone has to be accountable, not just certain players. But nothing changed because LeBron was treated like he was untouchable, and the whole locker room knew it. Can you even picture Jordan or Kobe getting that kind of special treatment? Or Phil Jackson letting them skip defensive duties without consequences? Phil would have been...
Well, I'll play with both of them, and
Kobe has that killer instinct, and
done in a long time. But for me, it's always Dr. J and Michael Jordan. When Shaq wrote about the 2010 Eastern Conference Finals and the 2011 NBA Finals, he questioned LeBron's performances in the biggest moments, and his words hit harder because he was actually there, on the sideline, living it. Shaq said, "There's no question in Game 5.
Curry at the 1, Curry. Kobe at the 2, Jordan at the 3, Tim Duncan at the 4, and me at the 5.
LeBron was kind of out of it. He added that he always believed LeBron could flip the switch, but those nights he didn't. Not against the Celtics in 2010 and not against the Mavericks in 2011. Shaq even said it felt strange. It's one thing to be a great passer, but when you're supposed to be the guy, that hesitation hits different. Shaq kept going with a moment that still stings today.
But our game is supposed to be more structured. With this game we're watching now, and I don't know what they're watching now. And they say, I said the 90s, and it was way harder than this. You guys, this is like kind of soft. Like right now, you get a flagrant foul, you getting fined and suspended. Like guys ain't even fouling hard no more. Back before I played, it was crazy. But when I played, it was crazy. Even before like the 80s, pulling the night, it was probably more if it was going to win.
But he said he watched LeBron against Dallas. The ball swung to him, he had a perfect open look, and he kicked it out to Mario Chalmers. To Shaq, that made no sense at all. And remember, this is coming from someone who played with both LeBron and Kobe, someone who knows exactly what championship mentality looks like up close. When people asked Shaq about coaching the two, he wrote, "I'm not sure if Kobe is going to listen to Mike Brown. LeBron never really did." And then he added something even heavier. "Here's what we do know. Kobe will definitely be in charge." That wasn't a compliment for LeBron. That was Shaq pointing out that Kobe had the alpha mentality LeBron never showed.
People get mad as just a product of what I see. I've seen what greatness is. Been there, played with them. I don't see that all the time over.
Then came June 2015 on The Dan Patrick Show, when Shaq got asked point blank, Kobe or LeBron? And Shaq didn't even blink. He chose Kobe instantly. No hesitation, no dancing around it, just straight truth. And the reason was simple: killer instinct. That phrase keeps showing up because it's what separates good players from all-time legends. It's the same thing that pushed Jordan to take the final shot, whether he was cold or hot. The same thing that made Kobe drop 81 because he refused to let his squad fall apart. That's the mentality Shaq keeps talking about when he says killer instinct.
Whatever happens, you call it hate if you want, but even with the word hate, like these kids, they like to throw that word around. If you ain't great and I'm great, how can I hate on you? That don't make no sense.
Later that same year, at an ESPN event in Hong Kong, Shaq expanded on it. He said young LeBron was more like Magic Johnson, describing him as sort of like Magic with Jordan's abilities. He liked passing, he liked sharing the ball. Cuba, but Mike was Mike, just different from everybody else. And notice this, Shaq compared LeBron to Magic, not Jordan. That says everything. Magic is an all-time icon, but he isn't in the GOAT conversation with Jordan, and neither is LeBron.
If you do not say he's the greatest of all time, you're committing treason.
Fast forward to June 2021, when LeBron publicly criticized the league's compressed schedule after multiple injuries. Shaq didn't entertain it for a second. He basically laid out the generational difference by saying earlier stars played full seasons without complaining. Jordan and Shaq both suited up for 82 games and dominated. No load management, no complaints, no excuses, just straight production.
When I look at LeBron, he's not what Michael was as a player. He's not even what Kobe Bryant was as a player. When you talk about trying to compare Michael's instinct, his ability to take over games, his ability to want to have that last shot and demoralize you and scare the living hell out of you, LeBron doesn't have that gene.
Then, in October 2022, Shaq sat on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul and made himself crystal clear. He revealed his official top 10 players of all time. London May was intense, and the ranking showed exactly where he believes LeBron stands. No sugarcoating and no confusion. And this isn't some loud outsider take from someone who never touched an NBA court. This is coming from a 15-time All-Star, a 4-time NBA champion, a 3-time Finals MVP, a man who suited up with both LeBron and Kobe and knows greatness the same way he knows pressure.
Nothing, man. Listen, let me say something to you. The C's, we didn't give about LeBron. We didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't think that he could beat all 5 of us, and that's how it felt. He was trying to consolidate because he didn't want the pressure on him. His conclusion, after all those battles and all that experience, is crystal clear. Jordan is the GOAT, Kobe is number 2, and LeBron sits at number 3. No guessing, no hesitation.
What makes it even wilder is that Shaq has repeatedly left LeBron off his all-time starting 5, which honestly speaks louder than any critique he could ever say out loud. On the Big podcast, Shaq broke down another piece of the puzzle, the reason LeBron's longevity stats don't tell the full story.
This is the part LeBron supporters never want to talk about because it changes the whole conversation. When someone asked if today's NBA is less physical, Shaq's answer was sharp and backed by decades of bruises. LeBron has insane longevity, and he's the all-time leading scorer, no question. But he did it in an era where hand-checking is illegal, and every tough foul turns into a flagrant or suspension. Jordan put up his numbers while the bad boy Pistons tried to knock him out the air. Kobe dominated when defenses were still allowed to put real pressure on you. Meanwhile, LeBron gets a whistle if someone barely bumps into him. Don't get it twisted, I love LeBron, but no. No, Shaq even addressed today's players directly with a message filled with frustration and honesty. When someone claimed he was hating, Shaq shut that down instantly. That's not hate, that's standards. That's someone who went head-to-head with the best, refusing to lower the bar just because modern players have strong PR teams and social media hype machines. And Shaq isn't the only legend saying this, and that's why this conversation hits so hard. Charles Barkley on the Bill Simmons podcast said about LeBron's camp, "If you do not say he's the greatest of all time, you're committing treason." Kevin Garnett on a 2019 podcast with Bill Simmons and Adam Sandler talked about the Celtics beating LeBron's Cavaliers with the same energy, the same tone, the same message. This isn't one bitter former player trying to get attention. This is a lineup of all-time greats saying the same exact thing. LeBron is great, but he's not Michael, he's not Kobe. He doesn't have what they had, and he never will. But to be fair, Shaq has also defended LeBron at times, and keeping it real means acknowledging that. On Drink Champs in October 2022, Shaq pushed back on the killer instinct narrative, saying if you don't have killer instinct, how you get 38,000 points? And on the Big Podcast with JJ Redick in 2024, Shaq called LeBron the greatest young leader I've ever seen, adding that when he joined Cleveland, Bron already had that under control. I was super impressed. So no, this isn't Shaq pretending LeBron isn't legendary. What we're seeing is Shaq drawing a clean line between being an all-time great and being the greatest of all time. LeBron is, without question, an all-time great, a top 3 legend who's done things we will never see repeated. But being great isn't the same thing as being the greatest, and that gap is where the whole conversation changes. He doesn't carry that fear factor that made teams panic at the thought of facing Jordan, and he doesn't have that cold-blooded instinct that pushed Kobe to drop 81 just because he refused to let his squad lose. LeBron helped spark the super team era instead of trying to crush the league on his own, and he's been playing in a softer era where the numbers stay inflated. When you stack his mentality and clutch presence next to Jordan and Kobe, when you look at how those two controlled games mentally and physically, LeBron falls short every single time. And Shaq's voice hits different because he lived this at the highest level. 4 championships, 3 finals MVPs, 15 all-star selections. He dominated in an era way more physical than today and earned respect from every corner of the league. He played with LeBron, he played with Kobe. He saw both up close, and that gives him a perspective none of us can argue with. After all the years he spent competing, watching, and breaking down greatness, his conclusion never changed. Jordan is the GOAT, Kobe is number 2, LeBron is number 3. And that's not disrespect or hate, that's a legend speaking from first-hand experience. The truth Shaq exposed isn't that LeBron is bad, far from it. It's that even with all his achievements, all his stats, all the media love and carefully built storylines, he still doesn't have the qualities that made Jordan and Kobe iconic. He doesn't have that fear factor that froze defenders in their tracks. He doesn't have that cold-blooded instinct that demanded the ball when everything was on the line. He chose to be liked instead of feared, which sounds noble until you realize that in the world of true basketball greatness, being feared matters way more. That's why he'll never be the greatest, no matter how many points he scores, how long he plays, or how hard the media pushes the narrative. Shaq's been saying this for over a decade. Maybe it's time people actually listened. If you like this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. This we all obey.